Rugby World Cup, the second round, if you want to call it that, is kind of done. Today we have a break, no games on. The majority of teams have played two games. Some have just played the one. This is the way the pools are kind of lined up at the moment. The top two teams, the ones lined up to go through to the knockout stages. The teams in third are the ones that get automatic qualification for the next World Cup. And sad news for the guys at the bottom, but two games in for most teams and one for some. There are teams in interesting positions. The All Blacks, hooray for them, wouldn't have to qualify for the next World Cup. They'd get automatic qualification. Italy's top of the pool, sitting pretty. That's a pool you look at it and go, okay, we need to see some more games before we see how that's really going to line up. Pool A has been crazy, and you really can't see exactly how that one is going to pan out yet. There's still multiple teams that could go through. Pool C is still tough, although England have dominated the games. Still got two very tough games to come. Wales and Australia just played out that kind of top of the group game the other day with Wales coming out on top. So, yeah, we'll go over some of the results of this first week, some of the key stats for the different teams, and kind of give the teams a yay, a nay, or a so-so, depending on how they've done. So at the moment, you look at Pool A, Japan's on 9 points, Ireland 6, Scotland 5, Samoa 5, and Russia on none. Russia kind of go into this one with no expectations. Nobody really expected them to do much of anything, and their captain Artemiev even mentioned it in one of the post-match press conferences about how it was mostly about getting respect. You can say they've probably done that. So good on them so far. Samoa have been a bit of a mixed bag. They had a poor half against Russia, a really good half against Russia, and then last night a pretty poor game against Scotland, where they were, again, they didn't live up to any kind of expectation. So very disappointing. Scotland have had a mixed bag. Absolutely done by Ireland in the opening game, and then messy, but given the conditions, great win over Samoa in a game that wasn't a foregone conclusion. They still managed to get a bonus point win. It was scrappy, but again, the conditions didn't help, but kept themselves alive for sure. Ireland, it doesn't get more kind of polarizing in terms of their two performances. Brilliant in that first week, probably the best looking team of the opening round, if you can call it a round, and then shock defeat to Japan. I think shock to most of the world. But I guess that's what the Japanese were preparing for, and absolute kudos to them, because now Japan, sitting top of the pool at the moment, have put themselves in the driver's seat, and the performance levels have been there, so it's deservedly so. Pool B, Italy's done their job against the two teams they've played, being Canada and Namibia. They've put themselves in the driver's seat with 10 points. They just need to get a result against the All Blacks or South Africa, which is a lot easier said than done. South Africa lost that opening game, switched up the squad for the Namibia game, got the victory they needed. Didn't set the world on fire, but didn't underperform, so job done. New Zealand, just the one result. They've got a game tomorrow against Canada where they'll need to kind of get back on things after a long break. And Canada and Namibia both on no points. Realistically, for those teams, it's probably that final game between the two of them, which will be their World Cup final, and that one will be one to watch with interest. The third pool, as I said, England sitting pretty at the top on 10 points, maximum results so far, kind of like Italy, but they have played the two teams which in this pool were expected to struggle. They've still got games against Argentina and France to come, which will be their true test. But right now, England are looking very good. Argentina lost that first game to France, bounced back with a solid win over Tonga, but didn't impress over the 80 minutes, so they need to hope that probably someone else does them a favour. France have only played the one game, and that was the win over Argentina, getting all my teams mixed up. They've got the USA coming up. Like the All Blacks, they've had a big break, so they need to kind of get back into the swing of things. These two teams, I think you would say Tonga, despite being lower, they've both got no points, but Tonga has probably been slightly more impressive than the USA. USA has only played the one game, and they were pretty bad. Tonga, whilst not being able to score a whole lot of points, have at least looked like able to kind of set the tempo of games and control it for periods. They just need to add that kind of extra step to their game to actually really get underway and start challenging. But they've only got 2 games left to do it. The final pool, Wales are definitely in the box seat with that win over Australia, 9 points. They've had a win over Georgia as well. The Wallabies, it was close, came back well. Wales are looking like the best first half team of the tournament. The Aussies are looking pretty darn good as a second half team, but neither's been outstanding, both good. Georgia kind of put Uruguay to the sword with their forwards. Again, their backs didn't look all the best, but you'd probably give them a pass mark. Uruguay, until the Japan result, were everybody's kind of darling team with that upset win over Fiji. Short turnaround for them against the Georgians was always going to be tough. They've got 2 very tough games to go against Australia and Wales, but no matter what happens, they've already kind of won over a lot of people. And Fiji, one of the kind of genuine disappointments so far. It's pretty unfortunate for them, but kind of like Ireland, sometimes you just are that team that gets upset. So they lost to Uruguay. They're on 2 points. They've had 2 points on the table, so they're better than some of the other teams at the bottom of the table, but need to be a lot better. So yeah, that's the standings as we go into this day with no games on it. In terms of some stats, again, it's going to favour the teams which have played 2 games compared to the teams which have played 1. But in terms of your overall run meter leader, it's Alapati Leua from Samoa. That guy has been genuinely a threat with the ball. Marika Korobidi is second. Leua had 209 run meters across his games. Korobidi's had 206. The top forward is from Japan. It's Himeno. He's had 169. He has been a genuine top performer from this tournament as well. Top try scorer is Montoya from Argentina. So, we'll see if he's able to kind of maintain that. I guess if their set piece keeps trucking along, he might get some more tries. Matsushima for Japan is in second with 3 tries. Top tacklers, TJ Iwane from Samoa has 40 tackles. Shota Horia has 35. Lapis Labaskakni has 34. James Moore has 34. So Japan heavily featured in that. I guess that's a large reason they are where they are on the board. If you're looking at team stats, the top run meter getting team is England with 1,293, Italy second, 1,204, and Japan third, 1,156. So Japan not just doing it defensively, doing it with ball in hand as well. Tackling, Japan is the number 1 tackling team with 310 tackles over 2 games. Uruguay 309 and Ireland 306. If you're looking for just a bit of spice, offloads, Italy are the top offloading team thus far with 25, Fiji 24, England 22. Not surprisingly, Leone Nakarawa is the top offloading guy with 7 in the game so far. He has played in both games. So, yeah, that's kind of where things are at. Japan, definitely the talk of the rugby world after 2 rounds. Not that they have rounds in the Rugby World Cup. New Zealand have another game to go. So do France. So we'll see how those 2 teams go. Likewise, Canada and USA. Their games are tomorrow. So important games. But yeah, there's still plenty of rugby to come. You guys let me know what you think of the kind of opening couple of rounds. I keep saying rounds of the World Cup for want of a better word. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later. If you are interested in getting yourself one of these Japan Rugby World Cup 2019 alternate jerseys, head over to England Rugby Store. The link is in the description. If you use the code 2cents10, you get an additional 10% off Japan Rugby jerseys, other teams as well. Check it out.